So in this video, we'll be discussing about the topics suitability, feasibility and acceptability analysis. And this is based upon a case called as SWIFT. And this question has appeared in the exam June 2010 in ACCA. So we'll start from the requirement here. So the requirement states that, so it is a two-part question, okay, and the first part of the question asks you, assess using both financial and non-financial measures the attractiveness from Swift's perspective of EVM as an acquisition target. So a company called as Swift is going to buy another company called as an EVM, and our job is to tell whether it's a proper acquisition target. So we are using the model called as suitability, feasibility and acceptability as a method. This particular question has not asked you to write an answer in terms of the SFA analysis, but still that would be a more appropriate kind of a tool, because SFA is applicable when the company is trying to find out a particular option, a strategic option, whether that strategic option is suitable for our company, is feasible for our company and acceptable to our company. So SFA would be an ideal model to fit for this question. There's also a second question which asks about the Porter's diamond, but we are not going to discuss about this question. You know that you have to apply the SFA to another company which is called as EVM. So there are like two companies here. So one is called as Swift, and Swift is going to take over the EVM kind of a company. So your job is to find out whether Swift is in a position to acquire this company, whether they have the resources to do it, whether EVM would be a suitable target, whether it is feasible with the capabilities of this company, whether the shareholders will accept this kind of acquisition. So you have to know an idea about both the Swift company and the EVM company. We have to analyze this case in terms of the three things: suitability, feasibility and acceptability. So we will mark it as S, F and A. So Ambion is the third largest industrial country in the world. It is densely populated with a high standard of living. Joey Swift Transport is the largest logistics company in Ambion, owning around 1,500 trucks. So we need to know some data about the Swift company. So what we'll do, we'll mark this as an important point. Why this point is important is, we need to know what is the current strategy and structure of the Swift company, and also how it will be used in the future. So this point we need to know about the Swift company. So we'll mark it like this. So it is not referring to the suitability or anything, it is a general point. Okay, general point we'll mark like this. So this is the general point. Is the largest company in Ambion, and it has around 1,500 trucks. So we'll mark these things as important. Done. Okay, it has 1,500 trucks. It is a private limited company with all shares held by the Swift family. So there are no kind of shareholders there. It's a private company and all shares are with the family, so that they don't need to consult any other external shareholder. It has a significant haulage and storage contracts with retail and supermarket chains in Ambion. So they are having a large amount of contracts with the country. So in the country they are a predominant player and they have a lot of contracts also. The logistics marketplace is mature and extremely competitive. So that is another kind of a point. The marketplace is very mature and it's very competitive, and Swift has become market leader through a combination of economies of scale. So this company predominantly has done these things. They have a combination of economies of scale, cost, innovative IT solutions and clever branding. So these are their strengths. However, the profitability of the sector is under increased pressure from a recently elected government that is committed to heavily taxing fuel and reducing expenditure on roads in favor of alternative transports. So that's how the sector is. So this is again an important point. The profitability of the entire sector seems to be under pressure from the government. It has also announced a number of taxes on vehicles which have high emission levels, as well as reducing the maximum working hours and increasing the minimum wage for employees. The company is perceived as a good performance in its sector. So we will just see here. So because of this point, okay, maximum working hours have been reduced and wages have been increased. Because of this, the profitability of the company will be under pressure. See, the profitability of this company will be under pressure because of two things. So one is because of heavily taxing fuel, so that's because of one, and the second one is the wage level is also increased and the working hours is reduced. The company is perceived as a good performer in its sector. The 2009 financial results reported a return on capital of 18%, gross profit ratio is 17, net profit is 9.5. The accounts also showed a current ratio and asset test ratio, gearing ratio, interest coverage ratio. So all numbers have been given. We will see how to use this number as we progress through the question. 10 years ago, the Northern Bloc split up and 9 new independent states were formed. One of the states is called as Curia. The people of Curia, known as Curians, traditionally have a strong work culture, a passion for precision. So they are telling about another country. It's not about this country. This country is in the name called as Ambion. Okay, and now we are speaking about another country which is called as Curia. So since the formation of the state, their hard work have been rewarded and a high standard of living is there. So that is a kind of an important point. We don't know why it's an important point, but still we'll mark it. It's a high standard of living and increased demand for goods is also is growing. So they tell about another country where in that another country there is going to be they have now achieved independence because of the independence their country is growing very faster, and because of that there's a high standard of living and increased demand for goods. Any increased demand for goods usually reflect to the increased transportation also. So our company Swift is in transportation sector itself. So first they are just telling about that country. Since the formation of the state, the government of Ukraine has pursued a policy of privatization. It has also invested heavily in infrastructure, particularly road transport system. So this seems to be another good point. Increased heavily in infrastructure, particularly the road transport system, required to support the increased economic activity in the country. So that's also an increased economic activity in the country. So we mark these as important points. The state haulage operator EVM was sold off to two Ukrainian investors who raised the finance to buy it from a foreign bank. So this EVM company was sold to Ukrainian investors itself. Okay, the capital markets in Ukraine is still immature and government has not wished to interfere with or bolster them. EVM has now, this is an important point, EVM company has 700 modern trucks and holds all the major logistics contracts in the country. This seems to be a very important point because Swift is going to take over EVM. If they take over EVM, these trucks comes under the Swift's control. It is praised for prompt delivery, and problems in raising finance have made it difficult for significant competitors to emerge. So raising finance seems to be the problem in the country. Because of that, the competition seems to be very small. Most family firms each of which operates 20 trucks, making local deliveries within one Ukrainian region. Ukraine's 20 region. So other truck companies are very small companies. They have only 20 trucks, but only EVM seems to be having the largest number of trucks in that country. These two investors now wish to realize their investment in EVM and have announced that it is for sale. In principle, Swift are keen to buy the company and are currently evaluating its possibility as an acquisition target. Swift's management perceive that their capabilities in logistics will greatly enhance the profitability of EVM. So that's what they feel, and we mark it as an important point. Swift has acquired a number of smaller ambient companies in the last decade, but has no experience of acquiring a foreign company. So this is another valid point. Joey Swift is also contemplating a more radical change. He is becoming progressively disillusioned with Ambion. In a recent interview, he has said that trading here has become impossible. The government is more interested in over-regulating the enterprise rather than stimulating growth. He is considering moving a part of his operations to the country of Ukraine. Ukraine is one of the possibilities he is considering. So he wants to actually move from this country to another country itself for part of his operations. So these are the main points that we could actually get. Okay. So these are the important points. We also have some financial numbers. So financial numbers like financial position statement has been given, and also the statement of profit and loss has been given. So our job is to find out whether through the suitability, feasibility and acceptability manner how these are going to work. I have already created a ratio analysis for the company. I have compared both the SWIFT and the EVM. Okay, that we will discuss later under the heading acceptability. So we have generated a lot of points. First, what we'll do, we'll bring them here, and then we will put it according to these points. Okay. So in exam, your job is to first underline these points and ensure that these are the main points. Then what you do, you write your answer in terms of the suitability, feasibility and acceptability. So first what I'll do is I will bring my marked points here. So here what we have done is I've brought all the points which have been underlined or mentioned here to here. So our job is now predominantly to take these points and to segregate it according to the suitability, feasibility and acceptability boxes. So we'll get started. So this company is Swift is one of the largest company and owns 1,500 trucks. Okay. So we have to find out whether it's suitable. So we'll just see the common information between the companies. Okay. So it is the largest company. It is a privately owned company. It's a biggest logistics management company. They are into logistics marketplace, is a mature and extremely competitive. This company seems to have a combination of economies of scale. The profitability is under pressure, heavily taxing fuel, reducing the maximum number of hours. So this is all about the general information that we need to know. So we'll start from here. Okay. So these points are the general information which is concerned about the Swift company, and these points are about the EVM company. So we have a rough idea of how to structure now. So we'll start from this point. There seems to be a higher standard of living and an increased demand for goods. So that would actually lead to more sales. So it is suitable. Yes, we can handle a large number of transport. Yes, it's suitable for us. The government seems to be investing a lot in the road transport, and this would increase the economic activity. So that is actually a general point, but still it is a very suitable acquisition if the government is helping us to achieve increased profitable goal. So EVM also has a large number of trucks. We also have a large number of trucks, and the number of competitors are very small. And even if their number of competitors are small, they have only 20 trucks. Okay, so somewhere they are not able to make a lot of profit. The other small companies are not able to make a lot of profit. So our company can make a lot of sales here. And Swift company seems to be having a lot of capabilities so that they can use for EVM. So feasibility refers to whether our company has capabilities to support the acquisition. So the management feels they can do it. And Swift company has also acquired a large number of small companies. So that is also a good capability on the side of Swift. And he's considering moving all his company to the new Ukraine country. This is an irrelevant point to our discussion. So if you take here, see, your answer should work like this. It should tell about suitability. Okay, it should tell about the suitability of the EVM. It says if we go to and buy EVM, we will have a high increased sale. The government supports, that's an increased economic activity. The EVM has 700 trucks. There's very little competition from the existing players in that country. So it is a very attractive target in terms of suitability. Okay, suitability is our existing company's business model is the same as our acquisition. Feasibility is whether we have capability. Yes, these points tell that we have capability. We can also add a point of this. For example, we can add the point of this point to feasibility, that our company has gained a combination of economies of scale, cost efficiencies, innovative IT solution, and clever branding. So this can be taken under the feasibility. So our company has these kind of capabilities, and this capability can be used while acquiring EVM and running EVM also. So we have found out the suitability, we have found out the feasibility. We are now going to discuss about the acceptability. So in terms of acceptability, we are going to discuss about the shareholders. So who are the shareholders in our company? This Swift company is a private company. So you can use that topic. We can use that topic here. So in terms of acceptability, only our company family, okay, have to accept it. Whether they will accept it, the answer is here. I have worked out the ROCE, GP, NP, current ratio, asset test ratio, gearing ratio, and interest coverage ratio. So I will have another kind of a column to it. So in terms of ROCE, both are same. Gross profit, EVM is good. Net profit, EVM is bad. Current ratio, EVM is bad. Asset ratio, EVM is good. Gearing, EVM is good. Interest coverage ratio, EVM is bad. So it is a kind of a mixed picture, but we should not only think about the current scenario. See, this company has not been managed properly. So if Swift comes into the picture and if they are going to manage this company would actually turn around and could even become much better. So this is an end of the discussion here. So how many marks are allocated for this question? See, the total marks that have been allocated for this question is 15. We should have effectively generated 15 points. So we'll just see. In terms of suitability, we have generated 6 points. In feasibility, we have generated 3 points. 6 plus 3, 9. And in terms of acceptability, we have created 1, so that's around 10, and these ratios totally we have discussed 7. So 10 plus 7, we have discussed 17 points. So how much points should we have discussed for this answer? We should have discussed around 15 points. It's a 15 marks question, so we should have discussed 15 points, and we have discussed around 17. So in an exam, it's always better to add at least 2 points extra to your answer. So we should have effectively generated 17 points. I think we have done it. So each point should have been explained in terms of 1 to 3 sentences. So each point should have been explained in 1 to 3 sentences, and that would have fetched you the 15 marks. This is a lengthier case study, and this is a little bit confusing case study. You have to read it at least twice to get an understanding. Why should we read it twice? Even in this explanation, we would have found it a little bit difficult. The reason is, this question is a different question because we start from we first initially read in terms of ambient country, then the Swift company, then we again go to the ambient country's new regulations, then we move on to the Ukraine country here, then we move on to the EVM company. So there is always some kind of a back and forth movement about one company and another country, another company. It keeps moving. So it's a little bit difficult to explain this kind of case study. But in an exam, you should know how to pick out the points like how we did, and you have to structure your answer in terms of how we did. So in exam, don't write points like this, but write it in sentences such as 1, 2, 3 sentences for each and every point. Thank you for watching this video. Hope this was useful for you. We'll meet in another video.